There we go. That's even better.
Oh, it's so much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
Let's go stream Facebook. Let's get this all set up. Make it happy.
The quality on the screen. So
Talking to Angela. Live. Go live. Go live, people. Go live. We're going live. Copy.
oh yeah.
There it goes. Sweet. I could come here. Put paste. Print. Paste. There you go. It's on there. So if they want to come in, they can come and join us. That's cool. There. So if they want to come in, they can come and join us. Easiness. Hey, there's Virginia. That's cool. Hey, Virginia. So if they want to come in.
Hi,
How we doing?
I got a message about this. I thought I was an hour late because it said 6 o'clock. But that was 6 o'clock Central Time.
6 o'clock Central Time, exactly.
I'm doing fine.
So,
I got a message.
so yeah, I'm trying to get everything set up right now. It's like last minute thing, Virginia. So where are you from?
I'm in Florida.
Nice. How's everything in Florida?
It's pretty good.
So what do you do in Florida?
I'm right now I'm doing TC.
Okay. So how busy are you now?
I'm just getting started. I think I have my first client.
Oh, congratulations.
You're well. Oh, thank you.
And so, I have Angela here. She came from California. We're actually doing a little mastermind on her. And then you want to talk about it? You're the one who's learning, not me.
Yeah, so has been with Victor for a week. So has been really feel like already the 10x growth in my mindset, in my business plan, in how to personal development. So yeah, every day the conversation was very, very deep dive. So we started with the mindset. Well, actually we talk about the mindset every day because of a process of evolution. So we started talking about define my buy box and my landing box. So that start really clarify so many things that I want to achieve. So I've been putting me right on the right path for this year. So and on the other hand, that's really helped me to define my growth, but also, like today we drove around, look at the land. So Victor really showed me how to look. A piece of land is not a piece of land. It's what's all is around it. The economy, the industry, the people mix around it, the commerce around it, really give me a holistic new look about how to evaluate a piece of property. Underwriting is just a number thing, but there are so many things that the numbers cannot tell. And these are the things that I would not be able to pick up the wisdom without Victor really showing me on site.
So we've actually been having quite a bit of fun, just driving around, getting everything done. So, she wants to, supercharge her real estate knowledge. And one of the things you have to do is to know your area. And it's going to be the same thing for you too. If we're going, when you're a TC, right? You got to understand the processes, understand which states are you specifically in Florida you're going to be doing, or you're looking to do like different states as well?
Well, right now I'm doing Florida. I would probably want, after that, probably just do title states, since the processes are fairly similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well,
I
that's
used to live in New York, which was a landlord state, I mean, a attorney state,
yep.
and the biggest problem was getting two attorneys that actually got along, because otherwise it was a nightmare.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine because you're having all that you need to do, right? And then
Uh-huh.
on top of that, trying to get it going. It's like, holy crap. It's just one headache after another.
Yeah, attorneys are bad enough, but when you got two of them, it's even worse.
Oh yeah. So, are you just going to be doing TCing, or are you looking to also be part of a mentorship? I mean, doing buying real estate.
Right now, I'm just concentrating on being on the TC stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I've been bouncing around doing a whole bunch of different things. But what I have to do is just concentrate on one
Gotcha. No,
one
that's
thing.
that's one of the main things we want to do is become an expert on one and master one skill and become an expert on it, right?
Yeah.
So how you doing, Nathan?
Hi, Victor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. How you doing?
Oh, doing great. I just got off the phone with a potential investor who reached out when Vina was explaining her in the chat. Kyle, I don't know if you caught that name, but he put in the chat, hey, I'm an investor. I'm interested in buying. And it turns out, man, we shared a lot of the same vision. So
Isn't that amazing how just one conversation can lead to something bigger?
oh yeah. I mean, I'm barely beginning to, it sounds like you're well in your journey on this. I'm very much still in the launch phase, but learning every day. I mean, honestly, I take it you're a sub 2 family as well.
Yeah, sub 2, 10X, Capital School, big dogs. There's always so many
Oh man.
things you need to be part of, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling Angela too, is that once you become a part of a community, you tend to grow even bigger in other places, right? Because even though I have 5 different mentors, each mentor is there for a reason, right? Grant Cardone was my true mentor. I call mentor, but once you break it down, my mom was really my first one. I learned my worth ethic and everything else from her and my hustle. But once I got my scarcity mindset, it's not completely taken away. It's still there, but it's also a good indicator whether or not if the deal is going to be good enough. And then I got part of a RIA here in Dallas that really helped me up with the understanding the single family flips, wraps, and JVing with other people. And then on top of that, then I found Pace Morby. Oh, and I'm sorry, I actually found Brad Blazer. With working with Brad, that gave me the opportunity of learning how to talk to investors, knowing your pitch, your 45-second pitch, right? That was so useful. But you still have to always have that continuous education. So that's why I got with Pace, being sub 2, learning the creative side of it, looking at opportunities in a different light. And then that led me to Vina, who's my best friend now.
You say Pace is your best friend now?
No, Vina.
Oh, Vina. Yeah. I tell you what, I've been blown away, especially by her efficiency in explaining these concepts. I probably owe her I certainly owe her a testimonial, but I sort of feel like I need to get a little further along to have more to testify. But regardless, when I jumped into sub 2, the community, of course, was awesome, but the vast parameter space of what you could do it was only Vena's voice that resonated with like, this is the direction I need to go in. I mean, I know that I want to have awareness of all these other things that are going on, but there's, I can't do all of them. And I'm a buyer in multifamily. That's definitely and so I need to learn that. But it's only been her getting into the technical details that has brought enough confidence for me to go to brokers then and say, I'd like to, I'd talk to you about, this entire city block over here or something like that. I would never have done that without getting, not only just the lingo, but obviously the formulas, all of the stuff down. And Vena was the one that has done that. So it almost feels weird. I paid so much for the PACE course, and the value has come from this $39 that I've so far invested with Vena. So I don't know, it's just the way things go, but you're telling me that, man, connections are a lifelong thing and you got to just keep pursuing them.
Absolutely. It's because you made that connection with Sub 2 that led you to Vena. If you really dissect it, that's really what it was.
It's
so
really,
what happens if you didn't do the investment with Sub 2? Would you ever known Vena, Jetty? Never. So don't take, a lot of people, this is one of the biggest things that me and also Angela talk about. Don't worry about the pennies, worry about the dollars, because the dollars is going to surpass the pennies that do the initial investment, because that initial investment is going to pay so much dividends into the future that it's going to be, how did I get here? That's the beauty. You can tell a story on how you got to that point. And you're absolutely right about Vena, is that she gives so much value, and the way she teaches, it's so simple.
Yeah. It's just something about it, it just resonates with me. And it actually subscribes, rather than being even close to a chore, it's a joy to learn. It's not like, oh geez, I got to put myself through this or something. It's like, this is what I'd prefer to be doing. And I have a very exciting W-2 day job. I prefer to be doing this. It's even more fun. And so it's been a fabulous journey. I really appreciate what you said there, Victor, about the, it's a chain reaction, and don't forget where it came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So where are you located at?
I'm in a mountain town called Los Alamos out in New Mexico.
Oh, I know where Los Alamos is.
Do you? Oh my goodness. Do you know the movie coming out about our town? We've got a trailer out there now, Oppenheimer.
Oh, really? You're gonna show off the atomic bombs and everything else?
It shows off the more nuanced questions that you have to wrestle with.
I actually went to school to become a laser technician, and my professors actually worked at Los Alamos.
Oh man. Okay, small world.
And so there's a lot of stories that they weren't able to tell us because, it's kind of hush hush kind of things.
Yeah.
Like if we tell you, we got to kill you kind of concept.
Yeah. Well, it's more like they get in trouble.
Yeah. But you got to bury the bodies, right? So
yeah.
What are you working on right now?
I work in high energy physics. We have a big 1.5 mile long particle accelerator here. If you're talking about technical work.
That's
I don't
cool.
know. If you're talking about technical work, that's what we're doing.
Really technical work.
So
Yeah.
what projects are you working on in real estate?
In real estate, we're looking at, it's related to the laboratory. The hiring demographics are really driving our local business vision right now. And that is that it's across the entire Department of Energy, but so many people have reached retirement age that they're retiring at rates that we're barely able to keep up with in terms of hiring. And people love the area so much that they tend to stay in their house, or at least they stay around. And it's creating a housing crisis for us, meaning the new hires that have come in, either they have to wait quite a long time for a house, or potentially they don't find a house. And we're talking about 2,000 people per year being hired into a town of 18,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we put together a business plan where we said, let's take this problem apart. We're not going to solve all of it, certainly not as two individuals. But what we want to do is develop, with a focus on multifamily, a series of short-term rental rooms for executive housing, so that people, when they come into town, we can say, okay, first of all, welcome to town, but you need to focus on your job and get successful instead of running all over the place trying to find a house right away. Build your network, stay with us for 90 days in one of our homes, and you can take your time to get to know the area. And if you want to live up here, or if you want to live in Santa Fe, if you know the area, there's other areas you can live. So basically, we want to provide that option for people to take a breath when they are starting their career in our town, and be a little bit more deliberate about where they buy their home and is it the right home for them. So it's a pretty big need. We're 2 short-term rentals into that already, but we really feel that to move the needle, we got to get into multifamily to do it.
I got a suggestion. Maybe it may
Yeah.
not fit your avatar or your flavor, right? Have you ever thought about doing like a mobile home park, a manufacturing housing community or something like that? Because it's pretty fast paced and you're able to really fill it a lot quicker.
I have. I'm glad you brought that up, Victor. In fact, I reached out to Boxable. It's one of these pre-manufactured ones.
I love Boxable.
Yeah. The problem is that Los Alamos is run by a county council that is very much against that.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean that it's a no. It just means that I haven't yet figured out, rewind. I wasn't in sub 2 before November, so I'm not used to thinking of most of these things. I'm pretty sure that the right people could be persuaded, but right now, the 2 problems are that, one, land is an absolute scarcity, and it's held by mostly the federal government itself.
Gotcha.
Other are Indian reservations and national parks. So we're boxed in by all those people. Now, I'm not scared by that because, in fact, I'm even hoping to use the fact that there's a movie coming out about our town. Our town is getting discovered, and, the government could lease land to me or to my team or properties of, there's a lot of solutions. It's just somebody's got to get in there and start proposing some new ideas. For example, one of them is there's a lot of unused commercial real estate here, and reimagining it as not a great place, as you can imagine, to do business, because people do like to get out of the town and go to where there's other culture, like Santa Fe. So it's not a perfect place to run a business. And so there's a lot of empty buildings, including, if like Smith's or Kroger or whatever you have in Texas there, probably. Yeah. And so trying to reimagine those properties as affordable housing is part of our sort of longer term vision as well.
That's actually a pretty cool idea, because if you really think about it, you're able to what we call repurpose, right? Or redevelop. And
Absolutely.
So it's actually a brilliant notion, because the bones are good. You just have to go inside and regut it and set it up for what you want. And some of those you're able to do 2 stories because the ceilings are so tall.
Exactly. Yeah. So we sketched out something in the bank boardroom here locally, where if you imagine a big Kroger, there's an old Kroger store. They upgraded and moved somewhere else, but there's an empty old Kroger store. It's just imagine a big box, but 2 stories with a bunch of skylights already in the middle. And I said, what if we just on the perimeter built housing and there was an open area? I guess in Texas, you've been to the Gaylord, right?
Oh, yeah.
Make a mini Gaylord in that there's like a gardens inside or something like that. And people have a common.
You put trees and fountains and make a little walk trail and there's.
Yeah. Whatever you can fit in there. But the idea would be that these folks are happy to share some common area, and now instead of it being a dead Kroger carcass out there in the parking lot, it's some kind of, solution. So anyway, that's the kind of way we think. My wife and I would join us. My wife's name is Daniela. She's the chief technology officer for a company out in the Bay Area, but she works from home here, except for today. She's in the Bay Area for a board meeting. And she's more of the integrator. I'm more of the visionary. And so if you've read Rocket Fuel, we need each other. And I've got an idea board that's 20 deep. Look at that. Yes.
Hey, guess what? Look,
What?
ready?
Nice. Oh, fantastic. From the best, from the best. Yeah, that's very cool, Victor. I resonate with so many, and not surprising, of course, but I resonate with so many things that I've heard you say.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ash, average car, man. You still there or you still driving, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
Good, good, man.
Jersey,
Looking-
right?
What? Yeah, New Jersey. I'm looking forward to meeting you in March.
March. Hey Nathan, you should join us in March. We're going to the 10X Real Estate Summit with Grant Cardone.
Oh, Grant Cardone. Okay. Well, I'd sure consider that to be with you guys mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I finished. He has an online course. I finished. It's pretty good actually. But I have to say, I mean, this legal Zoom was phenomenal. Like yesterday, I was blown, man. I was blown yesterday.
Same.
With that, or day before, was it day before or yesterday? I don't know. With Nick.
Yeah, that man, those two together. Oh my
I
God.
was actually, so I was, I was very confused before this, that, you know, how the whole process goes and, you know, how do you start raising money and this and that. And it almost seemed very daunting, but I think the way he explained it, it was phenomenal. It was really, really good, really crystal clear. I do have a few more questions for him. I think I'm going to ask him the next time we have it. I think 17th we have it, right?
Yes.
I was actually thinking of coming down on the 16th to Dallas, but my wife already has a trip planned for us. So,
Oh,
I'm not, so otherwise I would have flown down.
take a detour. Take the long way.
I wish, man. It's like not just our family. It's with another family. So we're going away for like it's a long. We're sort of doing like a long weekend. And so that was already planned. They've already booked the Airbnb and stuff. They were about to cancel, and I was like almost very happy. I was like, "Oh, are they canceling? Maybe I'll just catch a flight and go down to Dallas." But that didn't happen.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the meetup because it was funny. Vina actually texted me this morning. It's like, hey, how are we doing with the meetup? Because it's Karnak has a craft beer pub, and so we're having a meetup there. And so we're getting everything finalized for Vina and Nick. And so if you looked at my post, if you follow me on Facebook, I actually put it there and in the address.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is fun, man. I love it because I think I'm getting the right direction that I need in this. I am really looking forward to whatever, you know, Vina is doing. And of course, I'm very excited about your goal of 2023 units in 2023.
That's the play, right? And so one of the things that we did today with me and Angela, I was driving her for dollars, right? One of the things that
I saw that.
yeah, one of the things that we're looking to do is kind of change your mindset. There's a 5-acre piece of property here in Texas that we want to take down. It already has 11 mobile homes on it.
Oh, wow.
To remove those and find a new home for them down the road at a different location to build a new mobile home park, or even sell them to someone else who needs them, you know, as long as we take them out of there and then start looking to redevelop that 5 acres. If not, the next lot over is an additional 2.5 acres, so 7.5 acres.
Wow.
Redevelop that into what the city wants. Having conversations with them, seeing what the needs is. The needs always affordable housing. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. That's the space that we're into also. Like we're also into affordable housing, looking at, you know, Section 8 and relatively lower income. So that's a space that as a team we're thinking of operating in right now.
And so that's another thing that I was talking to my partner too, is to figure out if we can build a good, nice B class, 70 to 80 units, and test that out, because it's going to be a doable, or even do a duplex concept around that 5 acres, so we can start looking at another affordable way for living, either make it into a rental property or even a owner finance situation for people to come in.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be that's a fun project to do, man. I think the only challenge with these projects I feel is that you have to wait for the returns, right? And the uh, amount of time that it requires is usually going to be longer than what you anticipate. And that's I think where the challenge lies. That's why I'm trying to shy away from like big construction projects. I mean, I find them very interesting. Like I did my house, we constructed our house from the ground up, and man, it's rewarding now that we're living in it. But when I look back, I'm like, was this really worth the headache that I took? What was it really worth it? It was very stressful.
Now you realize it's worth every single struggle.
But I mean, the good thing is I know how my house is, and the good thing is I know like, where everything is in the house. But I'm like, I could have just bought a house. Why did I need to do this?
Yeah, but just imagine if you bought the house, you wouldn't have the little nice knickknacks that you wanted, the little curves here,
Sure.
that ruin everything else. Because it's like then you would have said, "Man, I should have just built my house."
Well, you know what? I think the bigger in the bigger picture, I think what that did for me was it actually made me sort of more resistant, more resilient to risks, and increase my risk tolerance. And so I think when I look at it, like now when I'm looking, even like I bought a property that was like a gut job. If had I not done my house, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Exactly.
So it's like the rehab itself doesn't scare me. It's just the time that it takes and the uncertainty of that. That's what sort of scares me
Yeah,
about it. So I think in a way it was good, but I don't know.
yeah,
So we
that's
have something fun lined up. Let's see what happens. We're working on a deal right now. It's a 100+ unit building. We're going to see what happens with that. I'm trying to see if there are other buildings that we can take down in our market, and we're trying to do this creatively. So that's actually the exciting part. We're trying to take down a 100+ unit building with almost zero to little money out of pocket.
is that the one in Ohio we're talking about?
Yeah. That's the one. So we're trying to take it down with little to no money out of pocket.
Man, that's a hell of a goal, man. I know you can do it, so keep on hustling, don't stop, and
Yeah.
don't be afraid to raise your hand to ask if you need help too, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure, man.
and then as well, it's like uh, you're going to get to a point that everybody here needs to learn how to raise capital, right? And that's one
Yeah.
of the legal Zoom that you're able to basically what Vina really helped us. She pulled the curtain behind and you're able to see what's inside, right? Like
Yeah.
lifting the hood on this badass race car and you can see what type of engine and all the components inside to make it tick, able to meet Nick, able to do and have a public adjuster in your team to help you
Right.
out, to walk the property, having a good contract lawyer, as well as a great CPA. On top of that, with a good bookkeeper and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
It's just some of those little the little secret sauce that it really takes to build a true team.
That's true. I think she's especially with Nick, I've kind of understood how to really go about raising capital. I think the thing that really clarified stuff was like how they go about when to start raising it and how to start raising it, like how to talk to people. And even the Zoom that she did with the MFC group day before yesterday,
Yeah.
where she talked about her story. I mean, she talks about the questionnaire that she has for potential investors. I think that was very helpful because you can start talking to people and sort of because you don't have a deal, but you can still at least vet them and see pique their interest and see if they would want to do something in multifamily or in real estate, and have them have a list of potential investors for your deals. So that way you have a team ready, and you have of investors ready, and you just basically you get a deal and you just go to them and be like, hey, we have this, are you interested in this? So, I mean, that was really, really helpful.
Oh, absolutely, because you're able to simplify everything because there's a lot of unknown factors, right?
Yeah. Did you take any, did you look at anything else to learn how to raise capital, or are you just,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
okay. What all, because I read Michael Blank's book. I think that also clarifies a lot about, how to raise capital and how to sort of do it. You start preparing for it. So I think that also helped. But
Yeah.
what else? What other resources have you used to learn how to raise capital?
I actually had a mentor. The dinner that you saw me on that I posted on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah,
Instagram,
yeah.
my mentor Brad Blazer was there, and he's my mentor to raising capital. He teaches you the do's and don'ts on how to do it, the understanding on which one you should do to raise capital, rec A, B, C, CF, and all that.
Sure.
Understanding the do's and don'ts and how to what not to say and how to say it, right? And
Okay, so that's really key, because that's where the devil is in the details, right?
yeah.
So that's key.
And
Does
so,
he have a course, or does he have a mentorship?
yes, he does have a mentorship. I actually posted on my Facebook. I'll send you the link and everything else too.
Yeah.
And then his course is really reasonable. We
Okay.
have Zooms on Thursdays at 5 o'clock Central Time. He's
Okay.
based in Houston, Texas. So he's a Texan. So you can't go wrong with that. He's also known. He has his own brand. His brand, the $2 billion man.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
he actually raised over $2 billion
Oh wow.
and put it into his business and real estate and helping other people. So he's actually taking a tally on the it's called Capital School, right? And
Right. Right. Right.
so the Capital Schools members there, they've raised over, I think he said over 500 million already. And
Okay.
and growing. And so this one member actually set up a great relationship with one of the royal families in Dubai.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. And so he's actually going back to Dubai because he raised over 300 million, I think it was last time.
Okay.
And so I could be
Wow.
wrong. I could be wrong on the how much the group has raised, but he just raised 300 million, and he's going back to Dubai to talk to the royal family again and see what else they can work together with.
Amazing, man. Amazing. I think I need to join this, man, because this is, it's funny because for the longest time, I have another friend who's a syndicator. For the longest time, he was like, you really should learn how to raise capital because that should be your superpower. And I was like, I don't even know a thing about raising capital. I don't know why you say that that's a superpower. And I don't know, like, why you think I should be, focusing primarily on raising capital. But like now I'm understanding, the value of it. Obviously, if you're doing a syndication, you need to be doing something else other than just raising capital. But I think, I'm pretty certain that I want to do this as one of the roles in my syndication, so that we have good money flowing in for the deals. But yeah, so send me the link, please, for that. I would love to learn more about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm making a note right now. If anybody out there who has a question, please be more than happy to raise your hand. We'll bring you on deck um, to talk about what your deals or if you're looking to improve. So um, you're right. Whenever you want to do a syndication or you got to have a superpower to be part of a multifamily team, it's only three categories, right? Asset management, operations, or the capital stack. Capital raising, right? Or raising capital. We gotta use the right terms, right?
Right.
We're raising capital for the deal for the equity fund. So you have to know what the how it's set up, because whenever you do a syndication, you have to have your SEC lawyer involved, and then you got to figure out what
Exactly.
reg are you using. And a lot of times it's going to be a C, right? And so
it's gonna be it's gonna be 5 or 6B initially, and then it's gonna go to 5 or 6C. And so, but I think the other important thing is that yes, you should have a superpower. Like if capital raising is your superpower, then have that. But you need to have another role because you cannot just be raising capital for syndication, and you need to do something else also.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I think something that'll be helpful for folks who are here is that the one question that we asked as a team was like, "What do you hate to do?" rather than saying what you love to do. Because I think for me, it's very clear. I mean, I freaking hate due diligence, and I hate I hate managing managers. So for me, I'm like a big picture guy. I can underwrite. That's like that's how I go into the nitty gritty. But I would love to raise capital and underwrite, but I cannot deal with the day-to-day activities, the day-to-day functions. So I think that's an important question to ask. Like, what would you really hate doing in this in a syndication? Because you need somebody else who will love doing what you hate doing.
Mhm.
And
So
yeah,
I have another mentor. His name is Brandon Dawson. He's part of Grant Cardone's team, right? 10X.
yeah,
There, there's something he calls the power of three, right? The power of three is you divided into three stages, and I'm glad you mentioned what you just said because it's going to be what you're good at, what you're bad at, and what you love to do.
yeah,
And then you keep the what you love to do, and then you delegate the other two pieces.
exactly.
And you're absolutely right, man. It's like you have to know who you are.
I think real estate does that. You really understand who you are, because it's not an easy journey. It's not like just put money in and that's the end of it. It really tests you. You require patience.
Well, that's one of the things that we talked about too, because that's, every time I wake up, I give my thanks, I could do my affirmation. And the one thing I always ask is making sure I'm able to be a patient person. That's my biggest struggle right now is patience. And I know that. And I ask every day to become a more patient and a more understanding person.
It's hard, man. It's hard when you, especially with social media around, like you see people closing deals left, right, and center. It's like, fear of missing out, FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's difficult in this day and age, even more so. But I think you really have to be patient, and you really have to kind of understand that you really need to vet. I mean, even if Grant Cardone needs to look at 100 deals to do one deal, like definitely need to look at more than that to do one deal. So that's kind of what you need to look at and understand that it takes time.
Well, here's the thing about it too, is that you got to build a process, right? You got to build
Right.
a process of how you're generating the leads. And, Grant gives us some great ideas, and so does Vina, is be part of those emails, be part of those blogs, see what their big boys are doing. CBRE is going to be one of the best ones you can go and just piggyback off of there. And also, you have Crexy, but the best thing you can actually do is actually build a relationship with
Right.
a commercial real estate broker.
Right.
Because once you build that relationship, they're the ones who already know, they already have pocket listings in their pocket. Not only that, they're already knowing some of the investors who's ready to get out of it.
I'm actually thinking of doing a sort of a workflow for, like, especially people who are starting out with large multifamily. And maybe if I build it, I'll probably post it in the group, just to kind of show pictographically how things flow, like what is the preparation that's required before you even start, and then what happens when you start, and then what happens afterwards. Because a lot of times people feel that, well, we closed on a deal and it's done. Well, no, that's when you really need to roll up your sleeves and start working on the project. And so, you have to know that that's actually more important than just acquiring the deal.
No, 1,000%. It's without a roadmap, how are you supposed to get to point A to point B?
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking of doing it. I'm probably gonna post it in that Facebook group, the Vina Jetty's Facebook group.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on it, just so that I want to make sure that I have everything in there, and so that it gives a very clear roadmap of how people need to, what's the first step, then what's the next step, and what's the third step. And there are a lot of steps that happen simultaneously, right? So there are a lot of things that'll go in tandem. So it kind of helps clarify, okay, these are things that I need to be doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then once this is done, okay, this is the next step. So I'm trying to do that.
No, that's awesome. If anything I can help you with or we can help you with, I would be more than happy to do so. Just, give
Sure,
us.
yeah, absolutely. I'm still making a list. I'll probably be able to do it. I don't think it's like a whole lot, but I think what I'll do is I'll probably send it over to you just for you to see if there's anything else that we need to add to it, and then we can post it.
Yeah, or we can go ahead and do a Zoom like this and post it on
Yeah,
Facebook, and we can help a lot more people who's,
or maybe have Veena vetted, and
that we can do that too.
just because I don't want to miss, I don't want to miss something there, and then people posting underneath, because I want it to be like a complete list of, okay, this is the way you do it. That's it. Like, this is what you need to do. And a lot of times people will focus on underwriting and this and that. Well, that's a separate part of it that you definitely need to know. But I think, but what's the process? Like, how do you navigate this? This is the way you do it. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, I love it, dude. Anything we can do to help, we're here.
Sure, yeah. Yeah,
And
I'll try to prepare it today or tomorrow, and then I'll send it over to you.
yeah, I'll love to. I would love to do what I'm doing today right now. The only reason I decided to do it because we've done so much in the last week helping Angela to do her buy box, her lead box, her mindset, some of the processes that we're actually going to be talking to a real estate attorney who also owns a title company, who has a lending opportunity and also does coaching and a third party service. So we're going to be working with him and try to get that all squared away and get it all legalized for us to move forward, because we're looking to not just, we have to work in single family, because that single family is today money, right? The today
Right.
money is going to feed the monster of multifamily.
Exactly. No, that's true. That is true. You have to. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, keep your primary job or whatever, however you're earning now money, and put a portion of it away into multifamily, because multifamily is a slow growing beast.
Yeah, and you might get lucky that you might be cash flowing on day one. And that's what you're looking to do anyway.
Yeah.
But you still have too many people, which is a good thing. You have a team, but you have to feed the team. But you also, if you have
Right.
investors, you got to feed them first.
Victor, I have a question. So, in Grant's thing, he talks about knowing your exit before you enter, right? But I don't think he talked a whole lot about how to calculate your exit. Do you know
Oh,
how that's done?
yeah. So you only have 3 exits. You leave it alone, you
Yeah.
refi, or you sell. That's it. That's all your
Right.
3.
No. What I mean is, like, when you're selling it, he says that know your exit, like, leave at least, sell it at a point where it'll be at least 8% cash on cash for the buyer.
Right.
And I think that was a very good tip that he gave. But I'm just wondering, like, how do you calculate that at the back end to figure out what the right price is now?
Well, you're going to be doing more than an 8% for the buyer, because you're going to be adding so much value to it, because your multiplier is going to be like a 1.5 or plus, right? That's going to be more than
No. What I'm talking about is when you go out to sell it, like once you've acquired the property.
oh, like
When
a cap rate.
Yeah, well, when you're trying to sell it afterwards,
Uh-huh.
once you've acquired the property, you've stabilized the asset. It's cash flowing, but it's time to say goodbye to the asset. He says buy the asset, but buy the asset such that when it's time to say goodbye to the asset, you're leaving meat on the bone for the next buyer, so
Oh,
that your asset is attractive. It's the attractive asset in the market, so that you
so
have a lot of buyers.
I got you. I got you. So that's one of our exits on the property that we're doing the LOI on, the 100 units in Daytona.
Yeah,
Because that's one of the things that we're looking to do is we're going to take it over. It has a lot of meat up on the bone if we're able to capture the right price, right?
right.
But what this one is 50% occupied because the first floor got flooded during the hurricane. So we have to rehab 50 doors. The other
Okay.
50 are fine and they're rented out 50%, all the top floors are rented out. But the
I see.
first floor, we have to do the rehab and also the office. So our plan is to rehab everything on the first floor and the office and bring the rents because it has almost a $325 gap.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a huge gap, dude.
So the plan is to do the rehab, put it in, do a building at a time, get those filled, get the first floor stabilized at the
Yeah.
new rents, and then sell it.
Okay.
Because that now you're leaving enough meat on the bone that you have the new owner to do 50 new rehabs to allow that upside.
Right. I see
So
what you mean.
that's what kind of Grant's doing. Not that aggressive that I'm doing, but
Right.
enough to leave it in there. So whenever you're looking to sell, see what the market is, see what the gap is. Let's say the gap is 250. Well, what happens if you get it to $200 at the rent? So now you have a $50 gap, right?
Right.
But over time, if they might look at something different that $50 is now $100 gap.
Right.
And
I see what you mean. So go up, but don't go all the way,
right.
sort of a thing. Okay.
So if
That's
you're
an
gonna
interesting thing. Yeah.
if you're gonna go all the way like Grant does over there in Florida, he goes all the
Yeah.
way up plus prime, right? Because the
Right.
location, you're on the
Right.
water. It's an A plus facility. So you're
Right.
get that market value prime. So
Right.
he's not going to leave any meat on the bone because he's not going to sell it because now he knows to really become generational wealth and keep his $4 billion asset under management is to not to sell.
Right.
And the only thing you got to do is just raise the
Interesting.
rents.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Yeah. Because he talks about like when you're ready to sell, leave, like underwrite it in such a way that you're leaving. They get at least an 8% cash on cash. The next buyer gets at least 8% cash on cash. And I was like, how does he calculate that? Like, how does he underwrite for that?
Yeah. So that's a thing for Grant doesn't sell anymore. He used to sell.
I'm
And
going to ask him this question in March.
yeah. But now, no, he'll answer it too, man. I'm telling you, once we go VIP, you won't go back.
I'm already VIP, dude.
All right, brother, I love it. And so there's a lot of people at the summit who's buying and selling because they have to basically stack their bricks, right? Instead of stacking cash, you're actually stacking bricks because you're making money. You're making bricks. And so what they want to do is get to that next level. You might be starting at the B and C level.
Yeah.
But you need to start working on the A's. And then
I think I want to be in the B class. Like we're in the B and C, but I'll probably go to B plus eventually. I think as a personal this thing, I don't want to go to like A plus just because of the inherent risks or potential downturn in the market. But again, that's just me. That's my personal flavor for now, and it may change.
Well,
things change. Everybody's perspective changes, right, about things. So that may change. Obviously, I'm going to add more markets eventually. But yeah, I'm trying to. This is a fun journey, man. I think one thing to understand is that you need to give it time and not get frustrated because it's going to take time. And, I was actually talking to one of the sub two members, and, she was like, well, how do I do this? And it was immediately after one of Vina's Zooms. And I was like, well, if you need money now, then don't invest in multifamily because you're not getting money right now. If you need money now, then look for something else because this vehicle is long term. It's not like you put in the money now and you're just immediately getting, a higher return on your money.
Oh, absolutely. Because you said it best, right? You're starting here, but no matter what, you'll be evolving into a higher person, a better person, right? Because now
Yeah.
you have all those processes you did for the CB, and then now
Yeah.
you can do the B plus, and then from B plus to A, from A to A plus plus, and then
Right.
that's going to be the time for you to just hold it forever.
Yeah.
And the only thing you're going to be doing is just refinancing and raising rents, refinancing and raising rents. And that's it. That's going to be the end goal for you
Yeah.
when you get to that point.
Exactly that, and buying more businesses. I have to, and that's the other reason why I wanted to learn how to raise capital, because once I know how to raise capital, that skill set can be applied anywhere. You want to buy businesses, you can apply it there. You want to buy real estate, you can apply it there. So I think eventually I'm going to buy some businesses as well, because I firmly believe, my parents, they were both physicians, and now when I look back at, they had their own. We had a hospital in India, so when I look back at them, I mean that was their only source of income,
Right.
and I feel like it gives me shivers when I think about it, because I'm like, if that goes down, like if that had gone down, like what would they do? There's nothing else to do, right? There's no backup. So to me, it's like, yeah, I have to have 7 streams of income, whatever Warren Buffett says, and have them in unrelated business, unrelated asset classes, so that even if one goes down, you have the others keeping you afloat.
I've been following, I'm not sure if you've heard of this amazing woman. Her name is Cody Sanchez, CODI.
Oh yeah, I have. Actually, I
Oh
was thinking of joining her thing mastermind, whatever she has. It's not that expensive, but I did
Oh.
not do it because I want to. The thing is that if you do too many things at one time, you try to do too many things, you'll do nothing. And so you have to focus and concentrate on one thing to really excel at that thing. And so I know it was a conscious decision on my part to not join her mastermind yet, because I'm not where I want to be with real estate right now.
That's why I have it right here. Master one skill and become the expert. That's a daily reminder for me to not to have that shiny object syndrome, because you do get off, you will get derailed, like you were saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, same for the markets, right? Like when people are just starting out, when I started, I was like, oh, maybe I can choose this market. Maybe this market is exciting. Oh, this market looks so nice. And there were people like they'll send you leads in every freaking market. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to miss out on any lead, but you just need to focus on one market and just forget about everything else.
And that's why we were working on Angela's buy box, right? With that, because she was like, I'm lending money all over these places. It's like, why? Just pick one market. And so now we've decided, well, I help her, and she decided to stay in Texas. So Texas is going to be the market that she wants to play in single family, multifamily, and
Right.
because it's a good market, and everybody's coming to Texas, right?
Yeah, everybody's coming to Texas.
You got Tesla, you got SpaceX, you got Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Texas Instruments, Samsung.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on and on and on and on.
Exactly. No, Texas is a great market. I think it's an amazing market to be in.
Born and bred, baby. Born and bred. It's awesome.
Well, I gotta hop off, Victor, but it was nice catching up with you again. Please send me the info for Brad. I would love to check out his stuff.
Yeah, I already got a note here, so as soon as we get done with this, I'll be sending you the link and everything else.
Thanks, brother.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Hey guys, anybody out there who wants to jump on and get on stage, please raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to bring you down. So, all right, let's do Mark.
Hey, how's it going there, Victor?
Oh man, Mark, you know, what can I say? I'm blessed, brother.
I love the sound of that.
How we doing?
Awesome.
Cali,
Good, good.
huh?
Yeah, I'm Callie. I'm got an invitation by Angela, but I'm gonna be boots on the ground in Dallas by 5:50 tomorrow.
Is that right?
Correct. Yep, 100%. So I'll be at the W. I got the we're gonna be setting shop up over there. I got a 1 bedroom, 1 bath at the residences at the W there. Perhaps we can connect on a couple of different things because me and Angela spoke on Monday, and what I was planning to do there was create a little bit more of a physical hub for people to come to congregate, people who are just starting, and just have a place where we can, do meetup stuff like that. And it was originally going to be a corporate rental, but while I spent time there in December, it just dawned on me that I was just really not looking at the real value of the place.
Mhm.
It's like 1,500 for the HOA, so we have access to a bunch of different things. Just doing a corporate rental, just to recoup the price and the money back on it would be out anywhere from like 6 to 9 months. So might as well just spend a little bit less on getting that up and running. Might as well just be over there and get deals. So I'm going to be meeting up with Jonathan Newsom. I don't know if you know that gentleman.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So
We're actually partner up on a Airbnb.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he was the one I reached out to about corporate rentals. I don't have any background in that. But yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be there. My avatar is a visionary connector as well.
Yeah,
So
we'll be a great connection.
100%. Angela spoke to me about some of the things you guys are thinking about doing, a barn mastermind of sorts.
Dude, we've been spitballing some amazing things that I haven't even thought about until she was here. And so it kind of opened my mind because she's here to do a mastermind for her because she asked. And she was the only person who was willing to ask, hey, I would like to shadow you. I was like, yeah, we can do Zooms and everything. It's like, no, I want to shadow you. And I was like, what? It's like, but if you don't ask, you don't know, right? So she asked and I agreed. So this is her second trip to Dallas. A first trip, she stayed here for 2 days and tried to get her mindset set up before we went to Florida to Grant Cardone's real estate summit. I think that was a big leap for her, but she saw a new world in real estate, especially on the multifamily side of it, right? Because most people, whoever comes into this is always talking about single family. And how many times have you heard, like Grant Cardone being a JD Pacemore being everything else? If you really want to do something, multifamily is going to be where to go, right? But here's the kicker. It takes time to understand the multifamily part of it.
100%.
You have to know who you are, what your superpowers are, where do you fit in? Are you going to be an asset, operations, or doing raising capital? Those are only the 3 places that you're able to fit. You can be one of each, 2 of each, or all 3. You can have a mixture. And so one thing that I've been learning real estate for multifamily since 2020. So I'm still, it's brand, it's not brand new, but having Grant Cardone as my mentor, who is able to learn from him, made my journey compressed a lot. because I was also taking massive actions, going to his workshops, going to and listen to him, bought his program, do the work, understand it, and apply it to real life. So I was going out there, I was doing due diligence, I was walking the properties, I was talking to the property managers, asking them questions, didn't realize what I knew just by learning a couple of things, right? But some of it is not, it's really not that difficult, because once you break it down and simplify it, we are all have the knowledge to pursue a multifamily deal. But there's also missing pieces. It's like playing chess. Every piece on the board has a specific purpose. You just have to figure out which piece you are. And so I found out who I was. I was a connector. I'm able to bring different people, help solve problems, find a solution, either by a process or a person, or just by just tweaking it to the left or tweaking it to the right. And then things change so fast. And so, me becoming Victor the Connector was actually created at last GrowthCon back in March. So that's when I was born. I was doing everything before, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I didn't know there was a connector in me, right? Just like you, right? You're a connector.
Yeah. So I actually teach a book club. I've been asked to kind of do Zooms, and I didn't really know, because had that kind of limited mindset of like, well, I'm very new to the space with all these really amazing people. But it was actually Elena Tang that did the morning mindset. And that really helped me when I came in. Definitely had shiny object. I came from a Burr strategy mentorship, and it was very simple: knock on doors, cold call, mailing program, driving for dollars, right? It's very simple. Just knock on doors, have conversations. That was it. And then discovered PACE through a meetup in Southern California. Met up with Mitch Roy. He's the very first person who told me about PACE and Sub 2, and I literally thought he was just speaking Chinese to me. I was like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, I don't know what is a PACE, what is a Sub 2? It's like a different language. And I went down the rabbit hole, right? Like YouTube, just what is this? Instagram. And then I met up with PACE at the Clever Summit. So PACE's wife, Laura, has the exact same birthday as me.
Oh.
So when he announced that she had I was watching the Zooms. I was communicating through Sunday service, and how do I get plugged in, all the things as a newbie, right? And he talked about the meetup in Las Vegas, and he said his wife was going to go. And I was like, I had all these lists of excuses of why not to go, but I also watched how she did a Zoom right after she had the baby, and that she was going. So my list of excuses got really small compared, right, to that. So it was the best experience, met it with PACE. And then going into the Zooms, connected with my partner in California. That's how I got into Sub 2, connected with him, but he was not much of an educator. He was much more of an operator. He was a doer. He connected me with another gentleman and more of an acquisitions team, and started doing all the different things, Zooms, all these different things. And then the end of last year, I realized, okay, I need to kind of compress into a more clarity of what am I good at? What do I like to do? What I love to do? What do I wake up wanting to do? And what are the things I just try to put off because it really doesn't bring me a lot of joy, right? So I realized that for me, I love people. I'm much more of a people person. My background is food and beverage, entertainment, chief marketing officer, all those things. So I align way more in less Zoom, less operational behind the scene. I'm way more front facing, shaking hands, like JJ Azizian, right? Shaking hands, kissing babies, right? Or shaking babies and kissing hands. And he's the very first embodiment of connector that I saw. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a role. This is an actual role. I see how he actually operates. JJ's mastermind networking, it's amazing. That's so many people. And I realized that this year it has to be a lot more going to places, meeting people, and actually experiencing it. And when I was in Dallas, I realized, wow, this is a space that I can actually draw people in and entertain. Long story short, I think that what I want to do with that space is be able to welcome new people in as if I was new, instead of all the things. Let's just simplify it with like 1 day, 1 week stuff. Just really baby step it in. On Saturdays, I actually teach a book club. The book that we teach is the book I've been teaching on is The Go-Giver, which is the connector, right?
I haven't read that one yet.
It's an amazing book because it really embodiments what the connector, or Pindar is the name for the gentleman in it. And if you want a copy, I can definitely send that over to you. If not, please come in on Saturdays. It's a space where, for me, I just want to create a space for people to come in and really get to know each other in a safe space that's not business driven. But it is, because we talk about books all the time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, all these books, but I don't think there's this safe space where it's not outcome driven, where we can kind of come in and just enjoy the act of learning together, like having fun learning together. But yeah, so that's something I do on the side. But what I want to do at the W is actually welcome people into that space to be able to do day one stuff. Work on 3 things, right? Cash, credit, and sub 2 is creative. So I want to kind of get people a little bit more understanding about that. So so I don't know if Angela is still there, but I want to appreciate her kind of sending the invitation for this space. She speaks very highly of you. And when, I don't know if time permitting or what have you, would love to connect while I'm there. Think about being there.
Trust, Mark, I'll make the time. Trust me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because
Yeah, so,
because it'll be a crying shame if I don't, really, honestly, because that's the main purpose of Victor the Connector, right? It's my core foundation is about relationships. That's it. That's my core. That's what the number one thing that I do in my business is build relationships. Because if I don't build a strong relationship, if my relationship with anybody is weak, it doesn't matter what kind of empire I build on it. It can come crashing down anytime. But if I build that relationship so strong and solid, it's going to withstand the test of time. Hence generational wealth. And that's basically the first number one thing that I do, is to make sure that relationship is strong. Because there's people here who came on that I just decided to do a Zoom and see who can come on. I had 10 people just like that. That means that I have people who cares and wants to know what I have to say, hence the relationship.
100%. Yeah, so I love to connect and show you that space. Like I said, we're paying a pretty high premium for HOA, so I'd like to utilize that. It's a pretty interesting event space that we have. So I'm in the residences. So when you go, I think when you do come spend some time, I'd like to kind of show you some special areas that brought me some, it inspired me to think about what could be created there. There's some pretty interesting spaces. And with the HOA space, it's when I was there, it was a little bit colder in December. From what I hear, it's gotten a lot better.
It's freaking 65 degrees outside right now.
Yeah, here in San Francisco, where I'm at, It's stormy. It's real stormy. It's nice for right now, so I'm enjoying it by the beach for the next maybe half an hour before the storm comes again. So
Yeah, we went driving and we looked at apartments, I mean, not apartments, mobile home parks and everything else. It was a beautiful day. Sun was out, kind of windy, like Texas is always windy here, but it was like 68, 71 degrees. And it was a
nice.
gorgeous day. It was a good day to do what we were doing, is looking at mobile homes, looking at tiny homes, looking at mobile home parks, looking at RV parks. We were looking for her because Angela never understood that life, that thing, right? Because it was foreign to her. And
Mhm.
so, and now she has the ability to see it firsthand, actually drive through it, and having someone explain how it works.
Mhm.
And her mind like,
Yeah. Love that. I think that's really what I want to do with that space is immerse people, right? It's so awesome that you said yes to Angela wanting to share space and shadow you, because I found in my experience in a previous mentorship, the 1 year, maybe year plus that I was in it was nothing compared to actually staying with a friend after the meetup and a little bit before in his basement and waking up in the morning, doing the things and spending time in his garage where he was actually doing deals. People came over, made the phone calls, looked at contracts. It was real. I was not trying to be a real estate investor. I was a real estate investor doing real estate investor money making activities, right? And that's when it clicked for me if I could do that. But in Southern California, where I live, I'm only like maybe half an hour away from Angela. We try to do different things, but we come in for like an hour here, and maybe once a week here, maybe a meetup, and it wasn't consistent enough, right? It's nice, but when I think about like my nephews, when they think about playing sports, soccer or basketball, just to compare the amount of time they're immersed in that identity of being, I'm now a basketball player or a soccer player, they have to dedicate time for practice. It's make space to play the games. But when I'm doing this, I'm in Zooms, I'm having phone calls, but am I really immersed in that experience, right? So this is going to be a very interesting test. Actually, not test. This is going to be a very good experiment because the idea that I have is incubator.
yeah,
I'm around tech a lot, and these incubating spaces. I've been around a lot of startups and done a lot of startups, and it's this 1 to 3 year stage of this incubator where the most amount of amazing stuff happens, but it's literally like garage projects. You're sleeping and eating, ramen diet and really basic. So I'm turning this penthouse into an incubator. So we'll see. Luckily, my partner has written off on it, or else he'd go crazy. So he knows what's going on. I just got off the phone with him today. So yeah, we're about to spend maybe $8,000 to $10,000 making it into a corporate rental. But we're rolling the dice and see if this might make sense. He's in the VC world. He's got capital raising, so he understands, the importance of having a space and the importance of actually raising capital. And that's how me and Angela connected. And she spoke very highly of you. So when there was an opportunity and she made that post, I was like, all right, let me just jump on. I hear good things. Let's see what this is about. So it's a pleasure to meet you, and love to get to Texas and share some barbecue with you soon.
oh dude, let's do it, man. Here, like I said, what you wanting to do is you're going to be in the right space. There's so many of us here. It is surprising, but it's not only that. There's not just up to, but there's, I'm part of a RIA called the Big Dogs. We got new people coming in all the time. And so which one? And then you're able to start helping a true community that is building around you.
Mhm.
Pace has a great community. Sub 2 is one of the best one of the best that I've ever done before, right? Because there are a lot of action takers.
Mhm.
And it's scary. A lot of times it is scary to go ahead and put yourself out there and expose yourself to something that you're not fully understanding. But if you
Mhm.
raise your hand and say, hey, I need help, there's going to be a person in front of you reaching back
Yep.
to guide you.
100%.
And that's what I wanted to do. So when Angela asked me, say, hey, can I shadow you? And not really understood her definition,
Mhm.
I say, why not? This is a good beta for me to see if I do have the stuff to be and raise my expectations as a mentor.
Mhm.
And I was like, why not? Let's do it. And so it turned out to be so far so good. I haven't seen any negatives on it yet. I hope I don't see anything. I'm hoping I don't brain dump on her too much, because I already have 3-4 years massive action experience that I've been doing with Grant Cardone, the big dogs, with Pace, with Brad Blazer, and now Vina. Vina herself has, oh my God, I don't know how to go back and say it, but she has really opened my mind on how much I don't know. And she's taught me so much that I know now and what I need to know.
Mhm.
And having the opportunity of inviting her to a dinner with my other mentor,
Mhm.
man, that speaks volumes, because she's that accessible to me, because she said yes. And I tell people the power of yes is so strong, but don't be afraid to not say yes,
Mhm.
because everybody's worried about the letdown. But what happens if you stop thinking that negativity to positive? But what if?
Yeah. There's a movie that I watch. Um, it's becoming kind of a tradition now. Yes Man by Jim Carrey. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are moments where we're kind of going to these dips and lows where like, okay, it's dark nights of the soul, things aren't going right. Just get whatever the comfort food is, watch it again. And I get into yes, it's just say yes to the universe, and then then it goes back up. But the value of that movie is also understand you get to say no. You get to make that choice, right? You same thing like a gas to accelerate. You want to make sure that you press the pause and stuff there. Put yourself in a lot more situations, and there's an ebb and flow, right? I went, first I think 2 weeks of sub 2. Um, my partner, I thought he was going to just mentor me. He plugged me in, gave me the keys to his Tesla and his uh and his penthouse suite, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna go on a sabbatical for about 3 weeks. I'll see you later. Good luck. you know, I was watching Zooms so much and got into the ball and everything. I just wanted all the things, right? It's like a kid in a candy store, and everything was brand new. I was like 1% understanding when I was doing the other strategy. It was like, okay, just knock on doors. Now it's like, oh, corporate housing, corporate structuring. Now sales structuring. Sales, oh my God, all the things, and it was worse than Netflix for me,
Right.
right? I
Right.
was like, oh my gosh, I had three. It was another mentor, Lena's friend. Um, she asked me to go check my iPhone, and she was like, hey, let me see your health. And I didn't even know that button was there. I literally only got this iPhone because of Pace. I have two phones. I have the my regular Droid and got the iPhone. But she opened it up and she was like, wow, you've gotten 3 hours of sleep every night, at best 3 hours and 15 minutes for the last 2 weeks. Do you think that's healthy? And I was like, I didn't even know. I was just in. When you're in, I didn't even come out to check anything, right? I was just like, if I'm not sleeping, I'm doing this, right? So she really helped me out to make things a little bit clearer, and right now when I'm looking at it again, I was like, wow, so much has still happened, because being in sub 2, you just get so much. It just all a consistent ebb and flow, consistent thank you and receiving and giving back. And it's like, no, okay, this is that. And so I made some decisions for Texas. It's giving me another space to be able to say, okay, I can create some space for myself there, and just align with what I want to do over there. And there's something there that when I was there, I was like, I don't know why.
It's
I'm a man of faith.
I'm
What's
telling
that?
you, Dallas is magical, you know. Even when I moved here, when I first got out of college, there was something about it that it attracted me to it, right? And this is way before, you know, I'm talking about decades with an S. And so, but after time, it's the people around here that you put yourself around that makes it more magical.
Mhm. Yep.
When I was in the big dogs, it was fun because I got to meet so many people from Dallas all the way to Fort Worth, all the way around. It was like leveling up that I didn't realize that how big Dallas Fort Worth was.
Mhm.
And doing what I did, made money, did some deals. I just didn't. I just felt like there was something missing, right? So still doing 10X. Never found the right team to do the multifamily because I didn't feel that I was ready for it, right?
Mhm.
As time goes on, found Brad, learned how to raise capital, got pretty good at it. Need to it's always continuous in education. And then when I got to Pace, that season in my life, it just like really opened up because I love how he uses creative financing, because that was the fuel that I needed to start stimulating my mind, because you're looking at different things and situations totally different that you would ever look, and that's only in single family, right?
Mhm.
I took that plus 10X, that I found a family that I'm able to work with for my multifamily venture. So, and they're all 10Xers.
Mhm.
And so we all have portfolios. I have one guy who does syndicate, has done 5 syndications under his belt as well at the same time. His name is Ronaldo. He's in Orlando, Florida. He's
Mhm.
one of my good friends and he's my partner.
Mhm.
He does all the granular underwriting. I do the napkin, right?
Mhm.
And I say, hey, take a look at this. It's like, then he'll tell me, not a good deal. And then if it's not a good deal, I start asking why. And then I'll start bringing that deal to somebody else. Because why not? It's not a good deal for us, but it could be a good deal for somebody else, right?
Yeah,
Who's
100%. Yeah. And yeah.
And so it's just giving back to the community one way or another. And then when Pace, and then I found Vina by accident.
Mm.
I was on TikTok, or no, I was on Instagram one day, and there she is talking about real estate. So like you said, it's that rabbit hole you go through, right? You're seeing what she was giving, and then I started following her, and then I found her on TikTok, then I found her on Facebook, then I started commenting, liking it, and then I was getting comics back.
Mhm.
I thought it was just a bot or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or an assistant, right?
Yeah.
It was actually Vina.
Wow.
And then, and my story to meeting her was pretty interesting because I had a relationship with another partner that she was coming down to look at a piece of property that I'm working on. It's 120 acres. So she came down with her investor friend, and she was speaking for an event. I hope Alvin's not listening. And I was at the Winston for a tax lien conference.
Hmm.
So it was over. So I got out because I had to do a Zoom, and I'm in the lobby. My friend was there, and she was at Alvin's Pope Johnson's multifamily conference.
Hmm.
So then I saw Vina speaking, and I got starstruck, honestly, really, because I was like, oh damn, that's Vina Jetty.
Hmm.
And my friend was during break, took a walk and started talking to Vina. I gave her 15 minutes to let her do her spill, right?
Hmm.
15 minutes was up. I took a beeline and went straight where she was at. And then she introduced me, say, hey, Vina, this is my partner, Victor. And Vina looked at me. I know Victor, the connector. I'm like, holy shit. My head got this big.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But from that point on, there was something special about her because she was listening. She was communicating with me. I was able to hold a conversation with her. I'm not a very smart man, but I'm pretty smart. I don't know everything. I know enough to get in trouble. And then one thing led to another. So she did a private mastermind with Pace. I was able to get into that room, and then really understood what her superpower was. And her superpower is education, teaching people. And I was just blown up. That first day, my head hurt. Literally, my head hurt because of all the information that she was dropping, all the knowledge and everything else. And it's nothing like Grant. If you're listening, I still love you. It's nothing like Grant Cardone's ever done, because Grant specifically talks about only a small portion of the entire pie of real estate and how to purchase and take it down.
Yep.
Vina pulled back the curtain and said, here, start from beginning all the way to the end.
Yep.
I've never seen that. And I paid for mentorships and I paid for workshops. None of them have ever went from A to Z.
Yep. I'm glad you said that about Vina. One of the main attractions for me of why I'm in Dallas is Vina. She came onto a different Zoom, and I've seen her in her caliber, in her career, and in her expertise. But for me, the things that resonate the most is the person. For me, I speak and listen in the amiable space, right? A lot of red personalities in our space, right? Drivers, get it, money, driver, go, 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 and all that. I've been in sales all my life. I've been around that space, and it's great, but I have a different speed of my life, quality of my life now. But when she came on, she was so genuine. She came in and definitely she 100,000% qualifies in her expertise, right? But it was her sincerity as a human being, it's her sincerity as a person that drew me. Like, I don't know why, but I know that I need to be there. So when I met up with Jonathan, originally it was come in for a couple of days, set the thing up, leave. And then when I was back here in Northern California, I went on that Zoom. So, and I was like, I got to call my partner right now. The plans changed. Everything's changed. Hey, that idea we have for corporate housing, forget that. I'm taking it over. We're going to be turning this into a meetup. We're going to be creating a hub there. It's going to be an incubator. He was like, all right, just let me know what you need. I was like, I need you to continue to do what you're doing. Park more money when you start selling more of your shares. And he's parking some money. We're still doing California, but now Dallas is a new spot. And he asked me, he's like, hey, do you think we can actually plant roots here? when we were there, we spent some time in Deep Ellum walking around. We went to DFW, and I was like, I don't know. In DFW, first night I was like, I don't really know what the vibe here is. And he told me, because where the W is, it's right next to the American Center where the Mavs play. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't really know this space, but I want to explore, right?
Oh,
And I just plugged in a couple of things, Google Maps. I was like, let's just get lost. Let's
yes.
just get in, get a Turo, and let's just be tourists and get lost, get some barbecue, and let's not make it into a business yet. Let's just see if we enjoy the space. And so we did some comedy, did some stand-up comedy stuff, did some karaoke, went to Deep Ellum, hung out, and I was like, we're about maybe 7-8 minutes from Deep Ellum, a very really exciting space to be around. And this is December when it's cold and people are out here. What could this look like in 4 months?
Mm.
Right? What
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Q2? When April comes around, I can just imagine this space blow up because it's cold right now and people are out.
Mhm.
Wait, and if this is as cold as it gets, oh man, my mind starts flowing, right? So he's in Mexico City right now. He's got a couple of other things he needs to do. He's a big capital raiser. He's in the VC world, right? So he's closing a $60 million fund right now. And so I told him, like, where we emerge is actually, or where we're going to connect is actually probably going to be in the commercial space. He's got a couple million he's going to be parking at the end of the year and when it comes to the single family, it's not really that exciting for him, right?
Mhm.
Players on that stage, he doesn't look at anything that's less than 25 mil, right? It's
I got
not
one to
exciting.
100.
Yeah, but the thing with him is he knows business and he
Yeah.
wants to understand the space, but I'm still very new.
Mhm.
I mean, he has partners and he's been 20 years in Wall Street, right? So he's been in the business world. He knows people in the commercial space, but they're like big players. They're, billion plus assets under management.
Wow.
But me, I'm a baby growing in this, right? Single family door knocking guy, right?
Hey,
Holy
everybody
shoot.
started somewhere, brother. Don't underestimate what you're able to do. And that's one of the biggest things that I tell everybody. We are our biggest critics.
Mhm.
Never go and downgrade what you're doing because you got to start somewhere.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, once you start doing that, once you speak it and put it into the universe, your body hears it. And when your
Mm.
body hears it, you start feeling it.
Mhm.
So it's one of the, and I was telling Angela too, is that I may not be the best, but I will be one day. Master
Mm.
one skill and become an expert. Those are the things that you need to start saying to the universe, because the universe will answer you. And you better be ready when the universe gives you the answer, because it will come to you and you're not going to understand how fast it answers.
I think it's happening already because what I thought was this idea of what this was going to be as an experience like a year ago,
Mhm.
the acceleration. I mean, my partner as a friend came to Clever Summit because it was my birthday.
Mm.
Right. And I told him, hey, you're also, the ticket you're going to get is also an NFT. So it's not really a loss. So you can't really lose there. But when I was in that space, I got comfortable again to really move in big crowds, right? There was that invitation by Jamil to connect with 50 people before we leave the event. What I heard was 50 people before lunch. Right? And he saw me, he was around, but I'm moving. I met so many people, I'm much more comfortable in that space because I spend a lot of time in the nightlife space, and you're moving in, crowds of 1,000, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was just common, right? But that was a lot more, alcohol and DJ driven, right? Party uns and all that. But now in this space, it's a lot more. Who is that? What are you doing? How do we connect? Like what Pace said, like, why are we making money together? How come we're not doing deals together?
Yeah,
Right.
I love that.
And
And that's so it's the simplicity of it. The
Mhm.
simplicity of it that goes and generates a whole entire conversation that's like, I don't know, but I have a deal. Do you want to hear it? That's like,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I was a solopreneur when I came in. I'm trying to do it all by myself because that's what I was taught, right? And before. And then it was mom and pop's operation. Let me just get one partner because there's not enough to split, right? Let's keep it small, keep it tight knit. And Pace really opened my mind on it. Like I have nothing against 10X and Grant shared space at different events. But Pace, when I shook his hand at Clever Summit, and I asked him how and why does he do these Zooms for multiple hours? How did you do the 18? How did you do the 20 something? Right? I'm just trying to understand it. Was it the Gatorade? Was it some type of fuel in there? He looked me dead in my eye, shook my hand, said, happy birthday. Glad you came over here. It's because I love this. This is who I am. And that's when it all changed for me. I changed. I was like, okay, now I understand. This is an identity thing, not a transactional thing. And how it's kind of grown from that experience is, being able to get into stuff to meet the people that I meet now this year, hit some pretty big milestones over the weekend. 4 years, no alcohol. Very connected with my church life. You know, my faith has gotten a lot stronger and it's guiding me towards things. And, people in the church have asked me to do some things that are kind of scary, but are really amazing towards this and how my faith aligns with my finances and my tithing and my giving. And that space at the W, I before I was like, let's just put that off because I got so comfortable living very low to my means.
Uh-huh.
Ramen diet, no carb, like just bare bones, right? Just bare necessities. But I kept getting challenged by my partner and other people. They're like, you can still, it's not a bad thing to go and produce more and be more in tithings. And yes, it's okay to live, low to your means, but it's not a negative thing to be able to ask more things to be able to serve more people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's been kind of scary for me. It's like there has been a breakdown mathematically with one of my church sisters on what tithing looks like for the year of 2023, not in January, but what it looks like in December, and reverse engineer that. And it scared me how for her, she was such a faith, sister when I have conversations with her. But when she broke down the math to me and she sent it, I was like, on Sunday, she just sent me a thing like, has finances been connected to your faith? I just had a calling to send this to you. And she broke down, 10% of tithings every month throughout the year. And then what it looks like every single month and what it looks like every Sunday. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, pray, don't pay into where you are, tithe into what you foresee for it and pray upon it. And I was like, how did you know some of this other stuff was going on? She's like, I didn't know. We all play our parts. And that's one of the things that's kind of scary. I was like, I booked the ticket on Sunday, and I was like, I hope the weather gets better. I don't want to fly out during a storm.
No, I've actually, hold on, let me check. The weather here is going to be, it's going to get, well, it's going to get a little cold. So tomorrow's going to be 54 to 78, Thursday 41 to 61, Friday's 35 to 57. So how long are you going to be down here?
Well, I mean, land tomorrow, and I have a one-way flight. That's how scary I am. I that one bedroom literally has nothing except some socks there.
Hey man,
So-
if you need to, you can crash over here with me and Angela, dude. I have you can stay in my son's room.
No, it's no. We're Jonathan's gonna take me to Costco. We're gonna go get the whole place set up. So we have to do that anyway. So I have a budget. My partner's sending me a credit card for that space. Hopefully it gets there sooner, but he's in Mexico and he's gonna try to overnight it. I don't know what that looks like from Mexico City to Dallas. So
There's going to be something interesting too. So I'm not sure about that one either. So, but
Yep.
like I said, dude, just I got your number. I'll text you here pretty soon with my number and everything else.
sure.
And, let's definitely connect. And then, hey, whatever you need me to do to help you, hey, I'm here for you too. If you're staying here long term, we are having a couple of meetups here in Dallas. Okay. One is going to be for Vina Jetty on the 16th. Okay.
Okay. I'll
Because-
be here for that.
okay.
here
So
for that.
Nick is for Nick. Blame Nick.
Okay.
So that's on the 16th, which is a Monday. The following week will be a meetup that myself, and Karnik is doing, and our special guest is Vina Jetty.
Okay.
And so I would love for you to come to that one. It's going to be at the same location. It is a craft beer pub in Prosper. So
Okay.
it's not that far from where you're at. You
Mm.
just got to take North Toll. I'll give you the address and everything else. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram,
Mhm.
on there too, it's Victor M. Balderas. I'll send you my electronic business card. You can get all that details from there too.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super down, and then love to show that space, and I want it to be utilized. Right. If it can provide value to some of the meetups that you're doing,
Mhm.
if Vina can utilize that space, I want to kind of show you guys, because when I was over there, I just started. I was just like, whoa, there's this space is just perfect to throw events at. Like the majority of the meetups that I've been to, even in Southern California here, it's always been a brewery, right? Because it's so easy to do it at a brewery.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought to do it at the W because the price was always an issue. But the price is already priced in because of the HOA.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
so I'm like, well, if we just do a corporate rental here, the person who's doing the corporate renting the space might not really care about that, right? It's going to be one person maybe coming in to do an executive position, do some stuff, be left alone and not utilizing that space.
Mhm.
But because we have the penthouse, got a private pool, there's the W has a private pool for the W guests, but I have another private pool that's specifically just for the penthouse that we have for the one bedroom. The owner of that is a VC gentleman, and he hasn't even been there for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So when it comes, my goal here, and I think my partner understands here, is that if we can create something that's exciting, I think we can align with a bunch of really good, powerful money connectors, because
Oh,
that's what they literally do. So
That's
he's
sick. That's sick. How big?
yeah.
You don't mind me asking, how big is your 1-1?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Well, we'll figure that out when we'll meet up and everything else, because
Yeah.
I'll be
I'll show you, and then you can come by and just so I have access to the spa. So it's spa access, and then there's private whole private office space
Oh,
that
dude.
we can utilize because we're tenants.
Hey, Mark, you know, you and I are going to be best friends, right?
Oh, 100%. If I hope you like to eat, because I'm also a
dude.
chef.
Oh, that's oh, come on, man. Once you see my physique, you see I'm a very healthy person.
Love it, man. Hey, food and connecting with people, everything else after that's a bonus, man.
Oh, dude,
You know,
it's
so
just, you know, we're only here for a short period of time. Might as well have fun with it, right?
100%, 100%. You know, quality of the people you spend your time with, that's very important. You know, that especially for this next chapter this year. I mean, I've been doing so much studying, so much of that. I've got too much of the studying this year. As scary as it is, my goals is in the doing. This year is positioned on action, right? Less thinking, more doing, and reevaluate after you've done the thing, right? So
We're going to have so much, our conversation is going to, you know, I can talk. Apparently you can talk too. So we're going to have some great conversations.
yes,
So
100%. And I mean, that yellow part of the personality, right? Talker, right? I have no problem with that. And I thought it was just going to be in the sales part, acquisitions,
right.
which I have no problem with. But meeting quality people to build relationships is more important. And I think you believe that as well from what I'm hearing, is that it's more of the longevity of the relationship more than the transaction on the front end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was going to give some other people, hey, anybody out there who wants to jump on, please raise your hand. I will be more than happy to bring you on the stage so you can talk about it. If not, just let me know. I know we've been on for an hour and 50 minutes. I didn't realize how much this works, but you know, we're here to help. You know, not just myself. You got Mark. You also have Average Aricot. I mean, I can't even pronounce his name, to tell you the truth. He's a great resource. I actually met him through Sub2. We actually had a couple of conversations and everything else, and then he reached out about the 10x. And so, you know, there's so many ways to connect and give value to people, you know, because don't underestimate what you're able to bring into the community until you figure out who you are, you know, because you might be looking at a different way on how to underwrite that most people would not look at it. It could be how creative you are to find leads, or how creative you are to find money. You know, look at Mark. He got a partner who's pretty well off. We're doing a penthouse at the W. Like, holy crap! You know, there's so many things that you don't realize that you have access to allow you to elevate not only yourself but the people around you to elevate. Now, being part of 10x, you know, met Grant Cardone several times. Part of the big dogs. Met the founders several times in a great community that I'm working with. Brad Blazer, just had dinner with him, with Vina. Pace Morby, met him several times, gave me the opportunity to go to the mastermind. And of course, Vina Jetty herself. It's like, from all of the relationships and everything else, each one is very special to me, because at a certain season of my life, I needed those mentors for me to elevate myself to the next level without really knowing what was happening. Whenever you go, and it's called continuous education, right? Don't worry about the price of the knowledge, because that's just pennies. Because what you're getting in knowledge, you're able to also put action behind there. And once you put the action behind there, you're able to elevate yourself, your team. You're getting a better understanding on which direction you're going onto your journey. It could be in real estate, it could be in medical or sales or whatever the engine is. You're able to move and get to that point and compress time. By compressing time to get to that, to get those shortcuts, trust me, guys, it's worth the price of admission, because you don't know what you don't know until you know, and then you know. So it's something that I say a lot. It's because it's true. You don't know what you don't know until you know, then you know, because it's the unknown factor that you're getting yourself educated to get to the next point. And once you know it and realize what you didn't know, then it comes like a freaking light bulb. It's like, man, where was that 6 months ago? Where was that 2 months ago? Where was that on my last deal that I did? Because when you put and surround yourself with like-minded people, I'm not talking about your friends. I'm not talking about your family. I'm not talking about your coworkers. Like-minded people is going to be the people that you put yourself around in your community. If it's going to be the engine of real estate, it's the people that you're using around that community. If it's going to be in certain type of business, it's that type of mindset. That's the people you want to surround yourself, because they have already experienced what you're going through. When I started 10X, that was one of the most biggest, scariest, but fulfilling things I've ever done, because I was able to connect with people who are more successful than I was. Meaning I have people who are millionaires and a couple of billionaires in my phone that I would never, ever phantom to be known to. You know, it's something that you have to find a way to get into those rooms. There's many ways to get into them. Most of it, you have to pay for them. Another way is to earn them, or you pay and earn them to go to the next level. So don't worry about the pennies, worry about the dollars. By worrying about the dollars, you're able to plan for today, for tomorrow, but not just tomorrow, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years in front. Once you have that picture and that clarity in your mind, you're able to now build a plan of success. You're building targets to get to that point. And it's going to make your journey even that much easier, because you're compressing time, because you're understanding your mission, your purpose in life, and how you're going to build your empire, your goals, your dreams to success. So hopefully that helps. And I hope that, you know, I wish everybody here an amazing 2023. It's going to make it epic. It's going to be so much fun that I cannot wait to hear your story. One thing I would suggest, guys, take time, thank who you need to thank, but also thank yourself. Because a lot of times that we don't even do that. We don't thank ourselves for doing some of the most impossible things that you're able to not realize you have accomplished, but also celebrate your wins at the same time, because you're not going to see what you're accomplishing by celebrating your wins. And even if you have a team with you, celebrate with them, but also have the focus that they're able to understand where you want to go as well. So guys, thank you very much for spending 2 hours with me. I do appreciate it, and I cannot wait for us to do this again. And if there's anything I can do, please let me know. You know how to contact me. We're friends, So just give me a text, give me a call, give me an email, DM me, or however you need to do. I will respond back. Thank you very much. Let's roll, make it count, and never stop hustling. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Victor.
Bye-bye.